Hello boys and girls, and welcome to my player ratings for yesterday's defeat against Manchester City. Did we think anything else would happen? So frustrating. It's the hope that kills you as an Arsenal fan. But it's the manner that we lost that game yesterday, and the fact that we threw it away, or David Luiz threw it away in particular. A guy that didn't even start the game. Mikel Arteta had made it pretty clear as to why he wasn't in the starting lineup, and then his hand was forced because of 2 injuries. And David Luiz had to come on. And he went and made a mistake at such a crucial time in the game. A minute before half time. Everything changes. Your half-time team talk changes. You're going at half-time at the Etihad 0-0. Given the fact that there were 2 forced substitutions because of injuries and everything else. And we had a bright opening 20 minutes as well. You would have took that, and it would have gave us that opportunity to regroup, to refocus, and to come out with a positive mindset for the second half. But then, even then, you go in at half time, you think to yourself, it's only 1-0. We can get back in this game. We've got a lot of firepower on the bench. Just make sure you don't do anything stupid in the opening 10 minutes of the second half. David Luiz does something stupid in the opening 10 minutes of the second half. Gives away a penalty, gets sent off. Game's effectively over. Damage limitation at that point. We're not going to attack Man City. We're not going to try and get back into the game because they would absolutely annihilate us. And anyone that thinks differently is just clueless. Even in that last 10 minutes or so, because there was a serious injury, we had like 11 minutes injury time. So in that injury time period where they scored their 3rd goal, they had about another 3 chances or so where they could have made it 5 or 6. It would have been humiliating. That would have been the last thing you needed. 3-0, given, the situation and everything, we got out of there lightly. And we just got to move on. It was one of the games in hand. We're not losing ground on anybody else or anything else. It's just the same as what it was. We're still 5 points behind 5th place. So it is what it is. And I'm going to go and get into the player ratings. And this should be fun. First one in 3 months. Let's see. Starting off in goal, Leno, my man of the match. All day long. If it wasn't for him, don't even bear thinking what the scoreline would have been. Didn't have any chance with the 3 goals. And do you know what? I'm giving Leno a 10 because he done everything that he should have done. What more could the guy do? Honestly, I know it sounds weird giving someone a 10 in a 3-0 defeat, but when it's your goalkeeper that's literally, having to play with a bunch of clowns in front of him, the guy deserves a proper defence in front of him. He deserves proper players that can protect him so that he's not having to do everything. It's actually a joke what this guy has to do on a weekly basis. Leno, 10, my man of the match all day long. In the right back position, Hector Bellerin. I thought he had a decent enough game actually. I don't think he was exploited or given too many problems down that side. I thought he had quite a solid and decent game. And we'll see how he gets on for the remainder of the season and how he progresses now. But I will give Hector Bellerin a 6. In the left back position, Kieran Tierney, and I think that he had a decent game as well. Same as Hector, wasn't really troubled down that side. I thought he'd done really decent in certain spells. Had to move into the centre back position when the sending off happened, which wasn't ideal, but it was good for him to get minutes under his belt given the fact he's been out for so long when you think of his injury before lockdown. So that's really positive signs. And Tierney, I'll give him a 6 as well. In the centre of defence, first of all Mustafi, and I don't think he put a foot wrong during the night. He wasn't too bad. It was just really difficult. And the fact that Luiz did what he did, and then you're going to get exploited once you're down to 10 men. It's Manchester City, probably one of the best attacking teams in European football, and the way that they can pass and move and make you look like idiots with 11 on the pitch. See what they do when you've got 10. But it was a straightforward performance, and I'll give Mustafi a 5. Pablo Mari was only on there for about 15 minutes, so I'm not going to actually mark him. I'm going to go to the midfield area. Don't worry, I'll get onto the subs at the end. Midfield area. First of all, Granit Xhaka. Can't mark him. And I think his injury was a real big blow. Massive blow to the way that we want to play and, you know, the way that we want to do things. I think the only shining light moving forward from this is that with it looking like quite a serious injury as well, Lucas Torreira's back fit. So we'll be able to find someone that can actually sit in there. And yeah, Granit Xhaka, wish him the best with his recovery. Hope it isn't as serious as way it looked. But I won't actually mark him. Next up, Joe Willock. Had lots of energy. But there was just a lack of end product, cutting edge. And it wasn't, you know, his best of performances in an Arsenal shirt. And I'll give Joe Willock a 5. Guendouzi was the next one. And again, a lot of energy. Had to move back into that role when Saka, you know, was taken off. And there's some moments that he does things in games where you think, okay, that's good. And he's pressing and the way he was breaking up play at times. But then there's moments where you think, oh, mate, you're doing my nutting. Why'd you hold on to the ball? Why not release it quicker? And it was a performance that was straight down the middle, to be quite honest with you. And I'll give him, you know, Guendouzi a 5 as well. Next player would be... who else did we have in there? We had Saka. Yeah, that was the next one, I think it was. And he played out on the right-hand side, and that was a bit unusual. And I don't think he really had any effect on the game, to be honest. I felt that he looked a little bit sluggish in places. I felt that he really struggled to get into the game. He was always getting caught offside, especially in the first half when he was trying to play on the last shoulder. And it wasn't a great performance, and I'll give him a 4 for that one. Next player was Aubameyang, and that was not a great night. There was times when you look and you think, was he even playing? It just wasn't a great performance, to be quite honest with you. But then at the same time, the service was dreadful. There was 2 moments in the first half, in the opening 20 minutes, where he made runs and he was clean. He was gone. Give him the ball. Give him the fucking ball, man. And he's in. You know, we've seen training videos this week. We've been, you know, inundated with all the social media posts from Arsenal, and they've showed that exact movement from Aubameyang in training. Play him in. What's the point in practicing it in training when you're not going to pass him the ball? Seriously. But apart from that, never done a lot. And looked very frustrated out there. And it wasn't a great performance. Same as Saka, to be quite honest with you. And I'll give him a 4 as well. Last player was Eddie Nketiah. And not a great performance. And it kind of just makes you question why Mikel Arteta started him ahead of the likes of Martinelli and Alexandre Lacazette. Opening 20 minutes, he got into the right areas and had 3 kind of chances. The one in the first minute, he didn't know it was offside. None of us did. And it was an awful finish. And yeah, not for me. He's not ready. Not to be starting in these kind of games. And it wasn't a great performance from Eddie, to be quite honest with you. And I'm giving him a 3 for that performance. I don't think it was good at all. Works hard, don't get me wrong. But the performance overall, nah, not great for me. First substitute was Dani Ceballos coming on for Granit Xhaka, and I felt that he worked hard and he'd done a lot of good things in areas, but there was something missing, and that was that creativity, that final piece in the final third. And again, it's one of those performances where it wasn't great and it wasn't bad, so I'll go straight down the middle and I'll give Dani Ceballos a 5. Next substitute was David Luiz. Honestly, what do you want me to say about this guy? We was in the game, 50% possession as well, and causing problems until he came on. Yeah, and then just before half time, what are you doing? What on earth are you doing? You do that in my team, you do that in my kids' team. I'd be going mad. What on earth was that? Schoolboy defending. This is an experienced international footballer. And you're defending like a clown. Sideshow Bob. Absolute dreadful. Going at half time, you think, right, let's just regroup, get over it. We're only 1 goal behind. We can go again second half. Just keep it tight at the start of the second. What do? Pull a man down, penalty, sent off, bang. Game over. Cheers, David Luiz. Another player that we bought from Chelsea and they shit. William Gallas. Petr Cech. It's a fucking list of them. Bored of it. Bored of buying their shit. Nah, mate. 0. That's what David Luiz gets. And then the 3 other substitutes. Lacazette. There was Reece Nelson. And there was Maitland-Niles. And I don't think either of them, or any of them, shall I say, had any real opportunities to get into the game. There was one moment from Reece Nelson where he nearly created a really good chance, and I thought he'd done really well. Cut back, left the defender on his backside and laid it in a path for Aubameyang, and the defender just got back. But that was really positive. Lacazette didn't really get too much involved. Maitland-Niles just playing around him. It was, like a training game for Man City in that last 10-15. But yeah, because none of them were on, longer than 15 minutes or so, you give them a 5 straight down the middle. But it's because of the time that they were on. Didn't really, game was done by then. So it is what it is. So that's the player ratings. Managers rating. Mikel Arteta. And you know what? The thing is that when you lose games and things go wrong, you will question the formation and personnel and everything else. And what I will say, I think the formation was right for Man City. The way that we packed the midfield, the pressing in the opening 20 minutes was brilliant. We were working hard, we're shutting them down, we're making them, have mistakes and everything else. But then part of the team that you've maybe got to question is Eddie Nketiah starting, and why. And it's one of those. I'll give Mikel Arteta a 6. I feel that his game plan and his, style that he wanted to, implement on the game was severely hampered. 2 injuries. And then David Luiz making a mistake just before half-time. And then David Luiz making another mistake and getting sent off. And that kind of throws everything out of the window. So it's very clear we had a game plan. And just everything that could have went wrong. And, he obviously didn't start David Luiz. So he obviously done that for a reason. But his hands were tired and there's nothing he could do. There's an injury and he had to take him off. Marry and then put David Luiz on. It's not Arteta's fault. Nothing he can do about it. But I'll give him a 6. And it's as simple as that. So in terms of the referee, don't really want to say too much about him really, because he was absolutely dreadful. Slaphead. What an absolute prick. How can you have a guy from Manchester refereeing a game in Manchester? He was just so crap. But I'm not going to blame the referee for the defeat. We've got to take that. But he was crap. And it's as simple as that. So there we go. That is it for my player ratings. Great start, eh? Yeah, wonderful. It is what it is. We've got to regroup and we've got to focus on Brighton. And it's as simple as that. So, listen, tomorrow morning there will be a DT's Daily as usual. In the evening there will be a preview to the Brighton game. On Saturday you can catch me again on AFTV for the live watch-along. I think yesterday's watch-alongs had about 500,000 views. Mad. And then, of course, on Sunday, we will bring you the player ratings before DT's Daily comes back on the Monday. And then we look forward to the games after that. So, well, we look forward to it. We hope. It depends how we get on Saturday. Because if we lose that, then my God. But yeah, listen, if you're new around there, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video. And I will see you lot tomorrow. I'm out of here.